UFC 289 is done. It's over. This card copped a lot of shit for being not the most stacked, but you know what? This card actually delivered. Had the worst night of the year for picks, and I'll get into that. As always, let's make this as breezy as possible. Like and subscribe. I'm on Twitter. I never mention that enough. Let's get into this. Alright, this fight was fine in terms of the pace, but from a skill perspective, Jesus, it was dog shit. Oliveira is wildly inaccurate standing, has nothing on the ground, is slow and has no understanding of distance control. Belbita spent the whole fight with her head down, plodding forward like a lemming and spanning an overhand left. Somehow Oliveira failed to read it after the 100th time she did it. If you're a small skinny bitch that has had the better in 1 or 2 street fights, but you've never been in a gym, you could be ranked at strawweight in 6 months. Put the dick down and let's go make some fucking money. This fight was absolutely trash. So after watching that slow motion bullshit in the first fight, this felt like I was watching a completely different fucking sport. Flyweights are so fun to watch generally. Dvorak took the first round after starting a little slow and seemed to be getting into his rhythm. Erceg though then kind of took over a little bit towards the end of the second round after timing a really excellent head kick as Dvorak was looking better and better. And that wobbled the fuck out of him, and Erceg managed to lock in a guillotine off it that nearly finished the fight. Third round was close, but Erceg finished strongly with a takedown to win the fight clearly 2-1 for me. One judge did have it 30-27, which is total bullshit, and it was quite ominous for me for the rest of the card. So after continuing my trend of horrendous starts, I was praying for a win in this one, and I did not fucking get it. It was a nice scrap though. The story of the fight basically came down to 2 key things, maybe 3. Nelson's jab was landing at range, and he appeared to be doing more damage, despite the fact that he was throwing a lot less. Secondly, whenever Bilder was actually able to close the distance and get close to the guard, he just inexplicably refused to let his hands go. He messed around a lot at the end of the third when he was clearly down and should have been headhunting. Not a smart man, that would be the third thing. Enjoyable watch though. Both men had a go for most of the fight. Another dog cashed in. Alright, this was starting to turn into a nightmare for predictions. Zahabi lit his ass up. Fight was over in about a minute. After his washy performance against Tercios, I did not see this coming. I expected it to be close, but it was an absolute mollywhopping. Ayore had his bell rung so badly, he got up 5 minutes after the fight was over and raised his hand like standing 10 counts are a thing in this sport. This was a battering. If I maintain my record of winning cards now, it's going to be a goddamn miracle. I'm going to say it now, women need to have their own cards so that we can pretend that they don't exist like we all do with women's soccer. Maverick won the first round, I would argue, by having more standing moments and being more active on the bottom, despite being taken down and controlled on the floor for the majority of the first round. The second round though, Jusudavicius just took over, peppered the fuck out of her on the feet. She looked quite good. She had far more activity. Not sure if it was her takedown defense that was good, or if Maverick's entries are just horrific. Maybe a little bit of both. We've seen Maverick's cutoff point here though. 29-28 seemed the correct decision, and 0-5 on the card. Holy fuck, my record is getting reamed out. This is embarrassing. Alright, Imavov's entrance music was tight. It ripped straight from that movie Man on Fire, absolute classic. This fight sadly ended in disappointment though. I picked Imavov, who was winning the fight pretty clearly. He had the better stand-up in the first, got a nice takedown, which is the first time Curtis has been taken down in the UFC. Imavov was poking away at range, and the second went on before an accidental head clash right in the middle of it. Curtis's eye had a really deep cut, and despite all his previous whinging, he clearly did want to continue, so I'm not going to shit on him too much for that. Fight was called a no contest. Anyone betting on this one for Imavov would be fucking fuming. Or delighted if you plumped for lack of action man Curtis. Moving on. Alright, with the main card started, they reminded us what the scoring criteria are in what has just become a practice of open mockery. The judges clearly aren't reading that shit. The live betting odds at this one had Anders as a -3 favorite with a minute to go. I don't know how the fuck they thought that. Anders did better than I expected with the cardio and some knees to the middle that were effective in the clinch, but he got planted in the first, was outstruck clearly in every round. Fortunately this time though, the judges got it 100% correct. 2-1 would not have been egregious, but it was called a UD 30-27. Great fight to start off the main card though, loved it, finally got a win under my belt. Thought I was about to get skanked again, but hey, there's still time for that. Nate the Train, baby! He met his match here. Ige is so goddamn impressive. The way he switches up stances and bombs to the body before setting up head strikes is so crisp. Just when you think you have this man figured out, he switches up and uses head strikes to set up bombing body shots and then just switches between the two. He dropped Nate the Train twice in the fight, really hard, in the first round and in the second, at the end of the rounds, and full credit to the Train, he managed to survive in there. Ige did slow down in the third though, so I might have to consider that with whomever he fights next. Great win, so good at using both hands, and a really fun fight. Alright, another really nice performance here, and completed a clean sweep for the Canadians on the card. What a goddamn coincidence, eh? A body kick at the start of round 1 set the tone for Mallot, and he didn't look back from there. He looked composed on the feet, carried some power, and has some nice takedowns on him. Remains to be seen if he will get to the top 10, but he has a whole country behind him, he's got a little bit of personality, and he really did well. He finished the fight by Qileng in the second, after dropping Fugitt. He has a really good team behind him at Team Alpha Male, so yeah, he might be one to look out for, to be fair. God damn, what can I say? I picked Benil, I dropped my only parlay of the night, and I'm still really happy for Dvorak. Benil looked really good at the beginning of the round, having some good control on top as Charles allowed him into the guard. But how many times have we said that about a Charles Oliveira fight? It's ludicrous. Once it got back standing again, and it felt like Oliveira could have done this at any time, I knew Benil was fucked. Oliveira hit a head kick that didn't even connect. It hit the glove, but it still wobbled the shit out of Benny. I'm glad this performance was dominant, as it means that they can't deny him there. The result will be the same in the rematch against Makhachev, but what a goddamn story it will be if he pulls it off, and he deserves to have a go based on this performance. One really nice fight while it lasted. He made a guy that's on an 8-fight win streak look like an absolute bum. Alright, it was nice to see the camera pan to Pena and hear her get booed the fuck out. I cannot stand that insufferable arsehole, and I guess it confirms that she's going to get the winner. No idea why, she's crap. Anyway, yeah, inactivity is what sums up this one. Irene Aldana did not throw enough. She got easily taken down. It felt like Nunes was just popping up away on the feet, and then when she felt a little bit tired, she just took her down so she could have a little bit of a rest. A very disappointing performance from Aldana. I did say that Nunes was going to win, and I had a bit of a debate with somebody on Twitter when I said it was going to go over 2.5, which it did. Aldana obviously did alright to get to the end of the fight, but she got dominated and didn't really belong in there, in my opinion. Clear win for Nunes, battered her. Yeah, and this took me to 4-6 on the card. My first losing record of the year. Could have been worse though. Could have been better if I got the Imavov win as well. Alright, so my record this year goes to 140-69. Again, not terrible. My win percentage is, I think, roughly about 65% now. It says 68, but I couldn't be fucked to change it. Anyway, back on Monday for the next fight cards. Again, I've got no idea what it is. Haven't really looked it up. Yeah, I'll probably be back Monday afternoon, something like that. So look out for the video. As always, thanks for supporting the channel. Much love to everyone. And yeah, I will see you soon.